back to another episode of the Nerdy Brigade. Today with me I have...
Donald.
And Scott.
And Brody.
And I welcome you all back to another episode of the Global Tier List Podcast. And we're continuing our childhood marathon movies by watching one of Brody's movies that he has brought in, which is Home Alone 3. We're going to get our predictions out of the way, and then after we watch the movie, we'll give our raw reviews and place it on the tier list. All there really is to it. Let's get going. So as for predictions, Donnie, I guess you can open up. See what do you think?
I think this is going to be really bad. I mean, Home Alone had some great first two movies, and I can only assume from what I've heard that this is just a shallow recreation of the magic the first two had. I'm going to say between Wild Wild West and the original Bad Boys. I have very low expectations for this movie.
Alright, so Scott, you are up next.
Alright, so yeah, I've only heard bad things about this movie. And for the record, I think I've seen Home Alone 2 once, but like not enough to know it. I've seen Home Alone 1 like a good amount of times. I like that movie. I don't think it's like awesome. I mean, it's good. But like, if this movie is that much worse than Home Alone 1, I think I'm gonna have a hard time seeing it any higher than like bottom E tier. I think my prediction is gonna be bottom E tier.
Alrighty. As for myself, I don't know. I'm gonna agree with something with Scott in that he says that like he doesn't have like the most experience with the Home Alone series. That holds true to me. The only time I watched two when I was too young to remember, and I watched one recently, sort of recently, and I think it was like shown in school or something. And like that is literally it. And just like Scott, I like those movies, or at least from what I can remember from two, and from what I know about one from watching it recently. I like those movies, but they're not like amazing. They'd probably be like in B tier or A. And as far as I'm aware, the Home Alone movies just get worse and worse. We're not at Home Alone 5, all right? Home Alone 5 would probably be an F tier. And I'm not saying this one's going to be much better, but I don't think it's going to hit that low. Because, oh, God, dude, it's maybe, I don't know, I'm terrified, but I'm also very intrigued. I'm going to put it below Suicide Squad for my prediction. It'd be really hard pressed for a kid's movie to be worse than Phantom Menace. And now time for the only person who has seen this movie's prediction. Brody, how do you feel?
Just from experience of this feature-length film, I would put it above Men in Black 2. And that's where it would go for me.
Alright, so not actually that far off from everybody else. We are about to watch something terrible. Jesus Christ.
Oh, yeah, baby.
But yeah, that's all there is for predictions, and now you all see our raw reviews after we watch the movie. If you want to enjoy this terrible mess, you can go watch it on your own, and then listen to our reviews afterwards. Alright, everybody, let's go.
Yay!
Alrighty, everybody, so we just finished watching Home Alone 3, and now we're here to give our raw reviews. And first up for it is Donnie. So, best of luck, man, on reviewing this movie. Your go.
Alright, so I'm going to start with something that wasn't... The characters in this movie are just the worst. I don't think I like one person in this movie. Everyone is just so bad. The kid is unlikable. Like in the original Home Alone, the kid has... as a child actor, he's okay, but as the protag, you can root for him and he's likable. You don't get any scenes in this movie where, he's taken over the house, ruling everything. He's just kind of there, and it doesn't work as well as a movie as the original. There's a reason why the original works. And you don't have any of the character stuff, like, which, even if it's basic and childish, like, I made my parents disappear, kind of dumb-ish stuff. It was just, like, I don't know. The antagonists are also just as dumb as the kid, who they're unlikable, they're way too complicated. It's if you can't explain who the antagonists are in a kids movie in like 10 seconds, they're just bad. They need to be simple and easy to understand. Somehow they're like stealing a missile chip for North Korea, but they're the Japanese and the fucking like they're Russian, but also arms dealers. Like, are they Soviets? But like we beat the like I don't get it. Somehow bad guys and they're mic'd up and super like they have tactics. So apparently we're supposed to take these people seriously. But I don't know how I'm supposed to take these people seriously when they are the biggest buffoons I've ever seen. They spend more time attacking each other than they do actually like taking care of this kid. It's unbelievable. I mean, in the original, they're like dumb robbers and they're just trying to make a quick buck and they overestimate or they underestimate what a kid can do. This movie, they're like armed terrorists or arms dealers who are retrieving a like computer chip. It's just overcomplicated and dumb and stupid. Something else in this movie. The traps don't make sense. A lot of these things are way too convenient to like really need to happen. In the original Home Alone, everything was logical and set up. If you walked through the house normally, you'd run into these traps. But for a lot of these things, they're just too convenient to be like funny or something. And that's something else. The slapstick just doesn't hit for me. I felt like it just corroded my mind. Like I was watching like I don't know, fucking daytime television. My mind was just being warped and corroded. It was just ugh. I don't know. The dialogue in this movie also trash. Like people it sounds like it was written by an AI. I think AI scripts are actually better. The kids sound like they're adults. The adults are like babyish. It's nothing is taken the least bit serious. Actions don't have consequences. Like I don't know. Like this doesn't work on any level, I don't think. Like as a kids movie, I guess, dumb stuff happens and you can go ooh ooh ah ah kind of shit, but for the rest, I'm like, I don't know. I think that there's some parts that are, I think, funny. I think there's some slapstick moments I enjoyed. I think in the second half of the movie, but on the whole, it was just not the best. I don't think it like physically caused me pain or was just fundamentally broken enough to put it in F tier, but it was pretty bad. And I think I'm gonna have to put it above Bad Boys 3. It could be argued to put it lower, but for me, it just shows how bad the other movies are, that they're worse than Home Alone 3. It is bland, boring, unfunny, and I didn't have a good time. So, I don't know. Hit him with it, Scott.
Okay. So I said before that I wasn't like the biggest fan of the original Home Alone. Um and there was a lot of you could obviously tell this was a Home Alone movie. Like there was a lot of the same vibe, but like none of the same charm or like class or anything. It was like an uninspiring copy, but everything was changed for the worse. The actors were worse, and not that they were good in the original one. I fucking like I think the kid is like terrifyingly bad in the first one, and in this one he is like terrifyingly worse. Um, I get it's supposed to be cheesy, but like Jesus Christ, if it's cheesy, it's supposed to be funny, and it wasn't funny. All the characters were bad. Uh, the whole like chicken pox so that he has to stay home from school and like fuck shit up. I think that was a stupid ass like. That's what this is based off of. I guess the original was stupid as shit too, but like this one couldn't cover that up as well. Uh, I mean, the whole like middle of the movie feels so non-existent and like unimportant and carbon copied from the original one. Like it even has the elderly individual that is terrifying at first but turns out to be a good person, and they have Christmas dinner with them at the end. Like everything is like carbon copied with an attempt at being original, but it's like so blatantly effortless and soulless that it's not there. It's almost worse than I think just a straight up carbon copy of the original would be. Um it's really, the acting is like really shitty. The siblings aren't supposed to be big characters, I get it, but like they don't make sense at all. The parents are like kind of whack. I guess they're probably like the least offensive out of the characters, but they're still kind of whack. Uh, it had a lot of the same in the final battle scene. It had a lot of the same like weird shit energy with the traps that the original did, but the original was like fresh and it was like it was laughable and it was almost nice. Uh, it was almost self-aware that it was supposed to be like a goofy, lighthearted Christmas movie. Um, and I guess this is going for the same thing, but like the premise of that one was that it's like fucking cat burglars going around. The premise of this one is that they stole nuclear launch codes, and then this kid had. It's like, what is happening? I, I just it doesn't work. Um, they they have guns. They have this guy's bringing a 12 gauge into this kid's house. He that last guy at the end tried to stick up a kid at gunpoint. Like, what is going on? What is this? Holy fuck! I don't even I don't even know. Um, I mean, there was a certain point like during that end sequence, I just fucking something snapped. I don't even know that I, my mind just ended. I mean, to its credit, there were some like legitimately funny lines in there, but like that's not a saving grace for this movie. Like anything that was funny was either because we made it funny or because it's midnight and my brain is already cooked. Um, but like I don't even know like what to use to describe this movie. It's so confusing and like not even fever dream, I don't think, because it like I see it. It's just so bad. It's so like it's weird. It's weird as shit. Um, I feel like I'm saying a lot of the same thing over and over again, so I'll try to wrap it up. Uh, but yeah, I really don't think this movie is good. Uh, it has a lot of the same corniness and the same like vibe as the original, but this is the precise type of movie that like you can only do it once and it will be like and it's already old. Like I guarantee you, if the first Home Alone movie was like the second in the series, it would be like unbearable, like same as this. Um, it's just the kind of thing that I think can only be done once, and then it needs to die because otherwise, this is what you get. That being said, I don't think it was a complete failure of a movie. I don't think it's F tier, although it's pretty damn close. Um, I think. Wow, am I really gonna put this movie above the first two Bad Boys? I don't know. I don't know. I think this movie has it has some of the same, and I'm like reaching for things good about this, by the way, but it has some of the same vibes as the original Home Alone, which are just always like fun and enjoyable. It does have some kind of funny jokes, and the whole premise of it, I think, fucking like war criminals chasing after this little toddler, I think could be fucking hilarious if it was self-aware. But it's not, so that's unfortunate. Um, this movie is funny, but for all the wrong reasons, uh, which is unfortunate. So between the acting that's dog shit, the plot that's a carbon copy, not much original about it. Uh, think I kind of want to just put it bottom of E tier. I could go above Men in Black 2 or bottom of E tier. Either of those places. I'm feeling more bottom of E tier, but we'll see what Brody has to say.
Well, before I kick things off, I agree fully with Scott's position of this movie. Um, this movie. So, what I want to highlight is just how awful the dialogue for the characters are, or is. Sorry. Like Alex sounds like he's been like alive for over 100 years and then reincarnated into a child. Dude's like going into in-depth detail of like how he's gonna trick these people and how he did trick these people. Meanwhile, his two siblings, all they're doing is going smiling at each other and going I mean, the parents, I guess, are normal enough in dialogue. Um, I mean, you know, but like, just the kids are totally fucking weird. They screwed those characters up royally, I feel. And on the topic of characters, Russian, whatever those guys were, the arms dealers. What is like? They don't act like they've been doing this professionally. Not saying, with the Home Alone logic and everything, that they should be smarter or whatever. But I'm just saying, like, they feel off to me. Especially like the guy who like barely talks during the film. What is his name? I don't know. Guy who gets like guy who gets haircut. That guy. He like barely talks in this movie and like is there for like 2 seconds. I just feel like some of these Russian whatever characters are done real weird. One thing I would also agree with Don on is the traps. Yeah, they were pretty luck based. I mean, like just like the coincidence of the whole guns thing. Oh my god. And the setup is way too long in this movie, if you ask me. Now I get the whole like progression of a Home Alone movie is like, you have like close encounters, and then you get to the big part. But like, damn, this takes forever. And maybe I just haven't watched a Home Alone movie in a while. But Jesus Christ, I really felt like that was a problem. Um, I feel like, you know what? I feel like the first two kind of like set up things in this movie where Alex calls the police. I feel like those two, what do you call it? They're not scenes, but like those two parts of the movie are very repetitive considering they're just right after each other. And you could have just done one, and then Alex would have been like, "Guess I'm doing this alone." And also, why the fuck would that Air Force recruiter like call the number he was given by a child? Also, incredibly luck based. Um, what else? I don't know. There's just a lot of wacky shit in this movie. I mean, it is enjoyable to an extent, but goddamn, is it hard to sit through? So yeah, bottom of E tier. Maybe above the Star Wars right next to it. Star Wars second. But I don't know. I'm just gonna put it bottom E. Tyler?
Yeah, fucking. Holy shit. Alright. So, I'm gonna say this right off the bat that Home Alone 3 is a terrible film. But I should also stress that I think y'all are focusing way too much on the logistical portion of a Home Alone film. Of course, this movie is going to be goofy and nonsensical. It is a kids movie, and don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna say just because it's a kids movie that it belongs higher, or I'm gonna give it any slack. It's still really, really stupid. But you can nitpick the shit out of like any kids movie that isn't like like a good one like Shrek. Like you can nitpick the fuck out of this movie. Hell, you can even nitpick the hell out of Shrek too with certain scenes that are just stupid as hell. But um, it's just what happens. This plot, the film directors don't need the plot to be so tonal. Not even. No, I'll get to that in a second. They don't need to think every single plot hole through because kids are not going to see those plot holes and they're still going to enjoy it anyways. I'm about to talk about why this movie's garbage in other aspects. Don't get me wrong, but like a lot of the stupid logical shit is not why I'm mad at this movie or why I think it's absolute garbage. My problem with Home Alone 3 is that this is such an unremarkable, soulless, and pointless kid film that I find it has zero enjoyment to be gained. So, the primary problem with this movie is that, again, it's actually, let's start off by saying why Home Alone 1 works, and I can sum that up pretty quickly. Home Alone 1 works because it feels like the film is actually running, like the entire film actually feels like it has a point, and it doesn't feel like it's wasting its time. Kevin has way more time to actually develop as a character since he's by himself for a large portion of the film. The villains are just as goofy as the rest of the movies tone-wise, and it just works out to be a nice little calm, not even calm, but nice little goofy kid movie. I mean, you could still nitpick the hell out of it, but it just works so much more consistently because of those design choices. Now, theoretically, the idea of higher stake villains, like in these movies, these four villains are technically more competent and stronger than the villains that were in Home Alone 1 and 2. You want to go on a technical level just because of their profession and the fact that there's double of them. I think though that it clashes with the tone of the film. Having the bad guy pull a Glock on the kid is like really just what the like that is terrifying if you were like a kid watching that and you saw him pull a Glock. Now I'm not gonna lie, I actually kind of think they pull a gun on the kid in Home Alone 2 near the end of the movie, but I'm not gonna vouch on that. But I think they actually do. But regardless, the fact that these are like four villains and they are shown in the beginning of the movie, they have all this like highly trained spy tech. Again, I understand what they're going for. It's going for this type of catharsis where it's like, oh, you see all these highly trained villains, and then they get their asses beat by a kid. But then the bigger problem with that is that I don't find any of the traps to be that funny, convenient, or even that clever for the most part. And the way things play out is just seemingly way too convenient. And we do not have enough time of these villains being competent or in a way that we care about for the catharsis to actually work. Even from like a kid perspective. Like, there's only like 5 minutes of these guys actually being competent, and then everywhere else they're just really, really stupid. Like, and it's just not good. It just doesn't work out. I understand you can argue that them escaping the 2 police car chases is them being competent, but we as an audience don't care about that because those scenes are, number one, so repetitive, and number two, like, we just see them like running away for the most part. Like, we don't get to see them actually do any of the cool spy shit that they did at the beginning of the movie, which is where you actually get some sort of like investment in quote unquote investment. Apologies, I'm fucking going crazy here for a second. So basically what I'm saying is that the villains have no catharsis. They raise the stakes, but at the cost of the tone of the film, in my opinion, and they just make things like ridiculous, honestly. These could have just easily been 4 random burglars and would have had the same impact. Donnie also mentioned that them having an overly complicated backstory is not important to like a kid watching the movie, but it's just unnecessary. There's no point for it to be so complicated other than to try and raise the stakes, as I have mentioned previously. But fuck it, I'm done. I don't care. I don't want to talk about the villains anymore. But Jesus Christ. Second thing I want to talk about is that, again, I cannot believe that this movie is 1 hour 46, and 10 of those minutes are like credits. It feels like it is wasting its time so much, and that's for 3 primary aspects. Number one, the double police car chase scene is really stupid, especially since they repeat the talk with him and the police officers afterwards. And the other issue is the 2 giant slapstick scenes, the one where they're chasing the car and the one where he's in the house, go on for way too long. Like before the big final scene happened, I said, Donnie, how much time do we have left on the movie? Donnie said 40 minutes. And then like 5 minutes passed, and then we had a 35-minute straight slapstick scene, and that is mind grating. Like, especially if you don't think any of the traps are that convenient, or especially if you don't think anything that is happening is like funnier. Like, nothing that is happening on screen for that 35 minutes is funnier to somebody like above like 8 years old. It's like the most simplistic, simplest slapstick shit. It literally broke Scott. The man was like cry laughing for like 2 minutes when the guy had shit raining on his face. All right, that it is. I think it's about as bad as Bad Boys 2 humor. Like, it just maybe not as like offensive or whatever, but it is just as mindless, and it kind of even goes on for fucking longer, which I didn't think was a property of a movie that I was gonna see in a long ass time. And the car one is even worse, dude, because it's just them chasing the car over and over again and repeating the same shit, like guys in the car again, guy hits the other guy when he's in the car. And it just goes on and on and on and on, and they could have cut it in half and it would have been better. Like, it just, like, the movie is far too repetitious. No character at all gets any room to grow. It's not really that funny. As a kid's movie, it is pointless. There's no reason to watch Home Alone 3 as a movie. It is a soulless cash grab that is somehow even worse than Men in Black 2 at that very thing. Like, and Men in Black 2 is terrible in its own right at being a soulless cash grab, but at least it has, like, charismatic actors who are not doing a terrible job in the movie. This movie doesn't even have that, since everybody... I don't want to give the adult actors too much shit, because, like, how well could you play a performance when you're getting hit in the nutsack by a fucking boxing glove? You know? I think they're doing fine for what they were told to do, to be in this goofy ass aesthetic. And I'm not even like, I'm not mad at them, and I can't be mad at the kid either, because they're kids, you know. Can't be mad at baby Scarlett Johansson. But it's just like, there's only so much I can excuse when I'm just not presented with things that are enjoyable. If the film has unenjoyable characters, even regardless of circumstances, I have to say that the characters are unenjoyable. It's just how it works, you know. Like, I can't ignore that, and that's a big problem. And like, the film is far too long. It's really not that funny. It is like draining on the mind. It is really, really terrible. Honestly, Home Alone 3 is just such a pointless. Like, even as a kids film, this movie is pointless. It is appalling that Shark Tales is a million times better than this movie, because at least that movie actually sort of has like a message that is actually like pretty heartwarming. The only thing Shark Tales does worse in this movie is pop culture references. Like, even like the most soulless Disney remakes, like Aladdin or like even probably like Beauty and the Beast or Lion King. I have not watched those ones, so maybe I'm doing a little bit of a hot take here. Like, I bet those are just a far better watch for kids, because at least they'll be like watching something that's like visually entertaining and not just like fart and shit jokes. Like, come on, give your kids some respect here, man. Like, this is, why would you ever show them this? And it's like, oh, as a Christmas movie, what the? It's hardly a Christmas movie. It's like a ha ha ha, it's Home Alone, and then at the end of the movie they're like, oh yeah, it's Christmas or some shit. Like, they don't even really do that. It's really stupid, honestly. This movie is pointless. It is bad. Don't watch it. It's fucking terrible. As for placement, I'm gonna say is right now, I think this shit belongs in F tier. I think this shit belongs below Wild Wild West in F tier. This movie is pointless. It is not funny. It has zero redeeming characters. It is draining on the mind. It is far too long. It has too many problems. There's like next to nothing I can say that is positive about this movie, because everything is undercut. And even as a kid's film that I excused it for earlier, even like, I'm ignoring all the stupid logistical shit, by the way. I'm completely ignoring all the dumb logic leaps that happen in this movie, that happen all the time. Even without those, I think this is still an F tier film, alright? Because it just fails on everything that a stupid kids film should really do, because kids deserve better than this. Just watch the first or second one, and you'll have a far better time, especially because the first and second one have the idea of, like, the first movie's like, oh man, I would love, like I bet a bunch of kids wanted to, like, be in their house by themselves and have, like, have a fun time. Home Alone 1 does that. It's like, oh my god, I'm by myself in the house, that's awesome. This movie doesn't have any, like, childlike wonder or any, like, ideas. It is a solid, it is fucking terrible. And I mean, like, god damn. Again, like, I think it's got just as bad humor. It's got the worst humor that we've probably seen out of any of these movies. And I would legitimately put this below Bad Boys 1 if it was like 2 hour 20. If this film somehow was like 40 minutes longer, which it never would be, but if this film was 40 minutes longer, it would be really hard to the differences between this and the first two Bad Boys, honestly. Even as much as I hate the boring-ass Star Wars prequels, at the very least, those movies have something visually interesting. They have occasionally, like, they have, like, one good scene with Phantom Menace, and Men in Black 2 has Balchinian, alright? That's the reason why that film's not an F tier. It's got Balchinian. And Attack of the Clones is, like, borderline F tier. Like, it is almost there, and I merely give it the E tier purely because of the Star Wars aesthetic and how the movie looks good, kind of. Like, that is like my only reasoning for not giving Attack of the Clones F tier. But this movie's just bad. It's just bad. You know, when Donnie said that this shit was better than Rise of Skywalker, I'm like, bro, I know you got Palpatine sucked, but you're fucking insane. This movie is terrible. And, like, I am somebody who thinks Suicide Squad should be F tier, and I absolutely think Suicide Squad was a better movie than this one, which is appalling, as saying that out loud, that Suicide Squad was better, but it really was, and I hate it for it. Yeah, no, for me, absolutely, it's really hard between this and Wild Wild West. I'm gonna put it above Wild Wild West because at least there's no casual sexism in this movie. And we don't have, like, a scene of, like, we don't have East meets West and then an Asian girl putting her ass cheeks directly on the screen. You know, we don't have that in this movie. But top of F tiers as far as that is what it's getting from me. All right. Okay, that's my thing. How's everyone else feeling?
Wow, my god,
I don't like this
you
movie.
really didn't like this movie.
I think bottom of E tier.
Really? You still think about you? I didn't agree. I didn't get your sway.
Maybe I was just like, my brain was just turned off.
No, don't get me wrong. I was laughing. Like, I was literally, fucking, that shit was literally funny. But it wasn't.
I didn't think of any of this movie.
No,
was
I didn't
funny.
think any of this.
Yeah, no, it wasn't because of the movie. I had a fun time, but it wasn't the movie's fault.
Yeah, no, that's what
I was just
Yeah, the movie is not good. It's just very not good.
thought it was
I
like
don't think it's an absolute failure though.
I think, dude, this movie's. If the movie is inherently like the most pointless piece of shit I've ever watched in my life, it fails, dude. It's not even like I couldn't even say this is like a good movie to put in front of your dumb kids to keep them entertained because it's like boring for like
They
the
deserve
first
better.
hour.
Are you calling me as a child dumb?
Yeah, you're fucking stupid, bro.
you Yeah, you don't want to put that out there for Tyler. That was just easy bait
Yeah.
right there. That was just like a slam dunk for Tyler.
Guys, it was just a bit. I swear, I didn't actually. I didn't actually.
Well, now we know why
I
Brody
didn't actually say the N word on
Home
the
Alone
bridge.
3.
Yeah, Jesus.
Yeah.
All right.
Brody, this was your bad movie, right?
This was
Yeah,
his
this
bad
was my bad movie.
Thank God. Thank God. I don't
Told
know-
you it was bad.
Jesus.
Oh man.
I'm still voting for top of F tier. I think this movie's
Scott
just-
fucking like
I-
broke down.
Yeah, my mind, something snapped.
Dude,
I-
how can your mind, like, all four of the bottom F tier movies had like a visceral reaction from me where I was in actual pain, like in every single one of them.
I don't think I had like visceral reaction of pain.
Scott,
This is just like
Scott mentally broke. Okay, man.
Monkey
Fucking
sees
died.
action, neuron activation.
you're-
Yeah, I felt like I broke during Rise of Skywalker too.
Yo,
Like,
you
this is
fell
just-
asleep during Rise of Skywalker. That's more apparent for an E tier movie, alright? But if you like mentally break, it's an F tier.
That's different. Yes. All right.
Yeah, Scott saw the man
That's
flip
actually
down
kinda
the stairs
fair.
and then just started.
But the thing is, I enjoyed that snap today. I was.
That
Dude,
was
I
the
would
funniest part of
cry
the movie. The
laughing.
funniest part of the movie, Scott, was when you mentally broke. That was the greatest part of the entire film. I didn't care what was happening on screen. You just died. You physically.
Ah,
I feel happy that I'm responsible for a little part of Scott leaving.
Like,
oh my god. I
dude,
don't
like
know.
by the time Bad Boys 1 and Bad Boys 2 ended, I think I wanted to die. I was in such pain.
You know what? I had a Scott breakdown moment at the end of Bad Boys 2 at
No,
the
yeah,
Hummer
no,
scene.
Yeah, I did too.
Not even that. I was fucking lucid for all of Bad Boys 2. I just like recoiled from it.
The worst thing I
Dude,
can say about like the
insane.
majority of E tier movies is that I was bored out of my mind. But
Yeah.
I was not bored during Home Alone 3. I was
I was.
being
no, I was just
fed
bored.
like I was being fed like terrible Hershey Kisses, like Hershey Kisses that have already
Uh.
melted, like forever
Oh.
ago. And I'm just
Hershey
That's
Kisses that
nasty.
have been like in the fridge for 8 months.
yeah, like the most disgusting Hershey Kisses. This movie is just chugging down like 50 of them in a row and being like,
I
were you
I didn't feel
entertained?
like it was that bad. I just felt like it was like a movie I watched in front of my cousins. Like it was kind
Yeah,
of like
Donnie.
that.
So you're the biggest like uplier, and I think Brody, are you still same place as me?
Yeah.
No, it's an
Alright,
F
so-
tier. You fucked. Why would
So
you?
what's the Donnie? You're the.
I think I'm actually gonna put it lower. I think I'm gonna put it below Men in Black 2.
Okay, dude, come on.
Um,
Well, okay, well, Donnie,
All
at
right,
that
then
rate,
it's going bottom of E
yeah, well,
tier.
at that point, it's going bottom
tier.
of E anyways.
It's bottom.
It's
of
not
E.
worse than Attack of the Clones.
Really?
If you move Attack of the
Yes,
Clones
it is.
down to
Dude,
F2.
this is
It's
100%
absolutely
worse than Attack of the
Okay, well,
Clones.
here's the thing, Donnie. If you vote for Attack of the Clones being an F tier, this has got to be F as well, man.
I don't know. This is bad.
It is terrible.
It is like I
What is
knew
what,
this was
dude,
bad.
dude, what your guys
I can't
one,
find anything that is
Donald,
like,
even my good taste
prominently-
is bad, and I knew this was bad.
Okay, like here's my argument. Y'all, when I was arguing that Suicide Squad should be F tier, y'all were like, if it has one positive thing, it's E. And I'm like, I don't. What is one positive thing about Home Alone 3? That Scott got put on like Mind Break on Pornhub?
It's fine.
Yeah, you're right. It's like
This is the femur breaker
I
of
guess it
movies.
just didn't. It was just really bad. I just don't think I had a physical reaction.
Oh, yeah, no,
to
Donnie,
it.
you stopped caring. No, you physically stopped caring. Because we said audio out for like 2 minutes until you realized what we were saying.
Yeah, okay, follow.
I wasn't even on my phone. I was just like kind of staring.
You were like 1,000 yards staring into the camera of your computer.
Dude, that's not even
exactly
that's
me.
not even boredom. Like Donnie, that is like you getting stabbed and like you're just dying in your chair.
It really is. It's
I
your
was like,
second
Kind of a
second
new
of your
reaction
life.
to him. You know what? Just for that, I'll side with Tyler on F tier.
It
Alright,
is-
motherfucker,
it
flip the
Yeah, me
coin.
too. I mean,
No,
this is the femur
Brody,
breaker of movies.
Come
man.
on.
Yes.
We've done it.
All right.
Brody's-
Well, there's that.
Yeah, we have
Fucking-
done it by
My
one
weak mind
space.
has crumbled under Tyler's
Listen,
argument. I
the
just wanna
amount
go
of
with that.
like
My
just-
my opinion will never be right.
This is-
I'm hopeless to
I can-
Tyler.
I have
I
never
can't
seen
believe-
such like a like just a hopeless reaction from a movie.
I know, Scott. I cannot believe what happened to you. Honestly, I was flabbergasted. You laughed for like a minute 30 before somebody
I
was
was
like, "Scott, what is
genuinely
happening?"
Fucking
worried.
joke car
I
moment.
literally, and it was like there was one thing that was like moderately funny, and then I giggled at that, and then it just snowballed for like 2 minutes.
Dude,
Yeah.
you ever seen like the death battle Joker versus Sweet Tooth, where they just laugh at each other forever until they die? That is literally what
Yeah.
you did. You did that, Scott. Joker hit you with the laughing gas, and you laughed yourself to death.
True.
And Donald just fucking
And
like it
Donnie
gave him
died.
PTSD.
Donnie died. Like he didn't go to bed.
Donnie just
Donnie
like
died.
had a heart attack watching the movie.
Donnie went, I can still hear them. I can still hear them.
Oh my god. Jesus fuck.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
I can't, man. I can't, dude. It is.
I'm pretty sure I have some sort of tumor from this movie.
All right. Well, here's the good thing. There's no movie that's gonna be worse than this. Cats vs. Dogs is terrible.
you sure?
None of us have any idea what Space Jams is.
There's no way. Space Chips could not be lower than Wild Wild West. There's no fucking way. All right?
Oh, I think Space
No,
Chimps
there's
maybe.
not.
Mario Brothers is definitely better than this movie.
Oh yeah, no,
If Space
100%.
Chimps is like
Lord.
incredibly racist, maybe it's below Wild West.
Okay, well, here's my thing. The only movie here that I have seen that I know for a fact could maybe rival this movie is Cat vs. Dogs, because that movie is fucking terrible. But it does
Ooh,
have
let the
but it
dogs
does
out.
have Jeff Goldblum, so
Oh.
Oof,
might be better than Attack of the Clones. All right.
that's a toughie.
But okay, but before we end things off after that fucking discussion, we have to decide who's next up. So actually, instead of me rolling the random number generator, Brody, you either get to pick me or Donnie, and we'll bring the next movie.
Or wait, we could do a coin flip though.
Now let Brody pick. Scott picked last time.
Donald.
All right, Donnie, you got your 3 movies to pick from. Which
Oh.
one?
Do I save Lego Clutch Powers? For a
You
later
got to
time?
do it first. You have to.
All right.
Just
Lego
get
Clutch
it over
Powers,
with.
boys.
All right.
The one, the only.
Then now, Jesus Christ.
I remember watching this movie when I was 8 on YouTube, and oh boy, I think I'm gonna kill myself.
Dude, if Lego Clutch Powers is an S tier, we're gonna have to make an S plus.
Yeah, no, we're gonna have to move. We're gonna have to move everything into S tier. If Clutch,
It can't reach A tier.
It
It's
can't
impossible.
physically can't.
it's no,
I doubt that
I'm
it
not even.
Dude, if Lego Clutch Powers is better than like fucking Godzilla 2014, I'm actually gonna die.
It's better than Godzilla
okay
1997. I'm gonna be like impressed.
if it's better, if it's better than Return of the Jedi or Last Jedi, I might also die. Like even though it probably will be.
That's crazy that they spent so much money and made a worse movie than like Clutch Powers.
Dude,
Imagine getting outdone by Clutch Powers. Suicide Squad is probably gonna be outdone by Clutch.
Any movie that gets outdone
dude,
by
there's a
Lego
Suicide
Powers.
Squad sequel coming out, man.
Dude, we already have movies on this list that have been outdone by 1950 Godzilla vs. King Kong.
What do you mean?
That's not a
Like
second
Sonic?
Fucking true. Oh my god, Scott.
Oh,
That's actually true.
yeah.
I'm really scared to show you guys A Town Called Panic because it's either gonna be like, oh, this is a decent movie, or it's gonna be like, what the hell is this, Brody? We hate you.
I feel like this is like, from what I've seen, it's like Bob the Builder, the movie.
Pop the. Well, we were
No,
also
well,
watching-
it's the same like claymation style, but it's like, it gets
Oh,
weird.
it's claymation. Uh-oh.
we're watching
It's not claymation.
I like
It's like
claymation.
they have little plastic figures and in different
Oh, like
poses.
Thomas the Train Engine.
So yes,
All right.
but like
Tank
more
Engine.
animated.
Well, we will say that for next time. This is going on for a while. We're not even talking about the movie at this point. We're gonna end things off here, guys. But next time, Lego Clutch Powers.
Let's go, baby.
Let's go. All right. Thank you all so much
Let's
for watching. Bye bye.
Da baby.
Late.